Welcome to the Survive, Scale, Soar podcast. Hear and learn through the success of others how to build the life and business you deserve. Learn to overcome failure, what it means to seek out growth, and how to become the best possible version of yourself. And now, here's your host, coach, entrepreneur, husband and father, and author of the #1 best-selling book, Survive, Scale, Soar, Jeremy Williams.
And welcome back to the show. It's Jeremy with your host for the Survive, Scale, Soar podcast. I have a great guest on today, Stephanie Cribbs, the team leader of the Stephanie Cribbs team, brokered by Keller, the Woodlands, and Magnolia here in the greater Houston area. I'm really excited about this guest. She's a client of mine. She's also a great friend. I've known her for many years. I've seen her growth. And it's going to be, I know the information that you're going to get from this is going to help you as a business owner in your growth journey. So welcome, Stephanie.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So Stephanie, how long have you been now in the business?
I have been licensed for 8 years. This last July 1st was 8 years for me.
And what got you into the business? Why real estate?
So interestingly enough, I actually have a master's degree in special education. So I previously was in social work and I did that for about 7 years. Got super burnout, could not make any money. And so my mom is actually a broker. She's been a broker since before I was born. My mom and dad built custom homes as an investment, like a side business. And so they're also into commercial real estate. My uncle's in commercial real estate. I've just been around real estate like my whole entire life. So it's not like I just thought, oh, this would be cool to do. It's actually something I was around. And so I was really tired and burnt out of the social work world. I'm grateful for that experience because I know it actually taught me a lot of skills that I needed for real estate. But then I just said, you know what? And I was a single mom at the time. My mom told me, you know what, I'll help support you for like a year because there's no way I could have done it just on my own as a single mom. And so I knew I had a year and I took advantage of it, took my classes, got licensed in about 3 weeks and did as much as I can to make it work that year.
So you've been in the business now for 8 years, and I've had the fortunate opportunity to be able to watch that growth over time to where you're in a really incredible place right now. What do you think you can attribute to your success growing your business over the years?
So there's a couple things. So number one, I would say my work ethic. So if anybody knows me, they know I'm a hustler, right? I work. I don't have set hours. I mean, I work. I get the job done. And like I said before, my mom and dad were both business owners, so I watched them how hard they worked to basically build something that was super successful. And so, just being around that, to me, I feel like you either have a business sense or you don't. It's not something that you typically can be taught. It's either like ingrained in your personality or not, like the type of personality you have, right? So if you ask me, like people, that are inside of my business, I have systems in place. So like there's a system for everything that I do. There's a procedure and a checklist, right? So everything tries to be done the same exact way every time. I'm really well organized. And so I can keep track of things, and especially like a very fast-paced market. And then I just learned that business is all about relationships and trust. And so I'm not a person that's friends with 100 people. I'm really good friends with, my tribe, as you've taught me. And so that's what I focus on instead of trying to be everywhere. I focus on the most important things that are close to me. And I know that, I'm not afraid of failure. Like that is probably my biggest asset is that I'll fail. Like I've done it many, many times. And so I'm not afraid of it. And I got to pick myself up and keep going. And I think that's just part of, being successful is failing. If you're not failing, you're not going anywhere.
So what do you think has been your biggest failure? And how'd you overcome it? It's a learning experience, right?
Absolutely. So, and even when you're failing, it's hard to look at it that way. But once you get kind of through it and past it and look back, you're like, okay, I wasn't a failure. Like that was just learning opportunity, right? So, as you know, hiring my first assistant back in like 2017, I had her for about a year and a half, and I just felt like a failure. Like my business, I had done 8 million the year before. The next year when I had her, I went down to 3.5 million. I didn't even do half of what I did before. And I just was literally failing. I was just like crashing down. I was like, oh my God. And I really had to figure out like, why was that a failure? Like what happened and really pick myself up from that. And then, the following year I sold 12 million by myself again. So it was like, I came out of the gate swinging, but I had to figure all that out, So that was probably my biggest failure. It was a dark time in my business, like for sure.
Yeah, I remember having some conversations around that. And I think what made you different from what other agents would do, they just like curl up in a ball, right? And die. You made the decision, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to take the things that I learned from it and keep moving on and moving forward. Like you didn't, like there's that rule, Chris Heller shared this last week, you can feel bad for like 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I had my pity party and I'm moving forward. And I've known you well enough that I see that, like you'll have a struggle and you'll be like, okay, I got to get it out and I'm done. Like I'm on to the next thing. And that's, I think that's helped you been very successful.
Yeah.
Your team's growing. You just added your husband joining the team as the director of operations.
I did. Yeah. It's exciting to, have him join me. Like he's been on the sidelines for so long doing his thing, handyman work and stuff like that. And so he's excited to be able to help me in a really impactful way. And his background is in operations. He was an operations manager for Home Depot for about 18 years. So that is going to help me out tremendously because he can do all the stuff on the back end and take really good care of my clients and allow me to just do what I'm good at, which is sales.
That's awesome. And it's growth. Like you keep growing, you're adding and becoming a more dynamic team. Before we talk about your service area and how you can help somebody, there was something unique that you did. It's been almost a year now. You started a health and fitness group. Why did you start that group? And tell us a little bit about the journey that got you to the place to start the group.
So yes, I started the group. Let me go back. So I started on a health and fitness journey back in January of 2020. So it's been 2.5 years is when I started that health journey and losing weight. And so my husband lost 100 pounds. I lost 90. It took us obviously some time. And so we've struggled. We decided, we wanted to take control of our health and really change our lives. So we did that, and it was life-changing, obviously, to lose that much weight and how many things in your life change, just things you don't even think about. So, you challenged me basically last year. So I had, been through my journey, and you said, you really need to tie in your personal journey, your personal journey with your business. And I was like scared to death. Like, what are you talking about? I would never do that. Like, that's my thing that I like to do, and I don't want to do something like that. And you said no, you just challenged me and said you should go on your Facebook page for your neighborhood, because that's where I do a lot of business advertising on there. And you said just post a before and after picture, and that's what I did. And I had the biggest response ever. Hundreds of people liked that from my neighborhood, right? Which is more than most people get, right, on the neighborhood Facebook page. And so I just went inside of the comments and said, you know what, I'm going to create a health and fitness group. And so first it started out just for the neighborhood. Here we said, let's just move it to like the zip code that we were in because we can hit a lot of other neighborhoods. So we did that. And then it's still for the zip code, but we allowed people to come in like from the area. So it doesn't even have to be zip code. And now we've got about 460 people in there. And I guess September will be 1 year. So it's grown really fast. We got a lot of really good business owners in there, like lots of really good, strong people in there. And awesome.
So you've taken something that's impacted your personal life. You're going out, you're supporting local vendors who happen to be homeowners as well. And in turn, you're impacting lives of people that may have been in that same situation you were years back, where you made that decision and said, you know what, I can't do this anymore. And you're now inspiring and motivating people that's having a real life impact.
Yeah, I mean, the group is great because it's a little bit of everything. People share stories, people share pictures, progress, what supplements they like, what workouts they'll do, just counting macros, just literally anything. And so, I think the world in general struggles with their health and fitness, right? Like that's a typical people, like a thing that people want to accomplish. And so that's what's great about it is you don't have to be any level. You don't even have to be working out to be in it. It's really just like motivating each other. And then we do allow on Wednesdays, like business owners that are in the health and fitness industry to actually advertise. And so that's been great for them because we can kind of get back and let them do that. And then we've been trying like once a quarter to do like an event, like a meetup. And so we've done 2 this year, which have been really good to meet each other in person. And then do like 2 more, this third quarter and then the last one. So just trying to grow it, trying to get face to face. I've already gotten business out of it, several transactions. Even I didn't even ask for it. I've never even posted in there, but people just, like you told me, if people can trust you with your health on that level, like they can connect with you, then they're going to trust you with real estate. So I think that's so powerful and impactful. That is something just mind blowing I never would have thought about. So I'm grateful that you had me do that.
And I'm grateful you took it on because I just had this gut feeling. We were talking about gut feelings, I know, in our call the other day. And this, having that gut feeling that you could take something that you've gone through, turn it into something really impactful. And also as a benefit, your business would grow from it naturally. Like you don't have to talk about real estate. Like people know you're in real estate, but they know that you've taken the time to help them and impact them in their health. They're going to remember you when it's time for real estate. So that's awesome.
It's authentic. You know what I mean? Like we love health and fitness. It's not like we're trying to like make it up and hopefully we get a deal out of it. It's like, so the fact that organically comes with it is amazing.
Yeah, you can't fake that. Right?
Yeah.
So having gone through that journey, just another side question to that is, and maybe get the answer from you on this, is how important is it for health and being a real estate agent? Like those 2 things together are pretty important.
It is absolutely necessary and a must. Like when I got into real estate, I gained a lot of weight. And just because it's a stressful job. Like being a realtor, is not easy. And you get in the depths of it and it's chaotic. The best thing to do when you've worked all day, you just want to eat, and so, and you get down a lot, like, you can't really control your emotions really well. It's a stressful job. And so I think taking care of yourself and finding just like a small amount of time that you can give to yourself to make yourself feel better. Like, and it doesn't have to be complicated. I feel like the world overcomplicates everything. You literally could just go like, meditate for 10 minutes or like walk around your street for 5 minutes, just something to like get moving. You don't have to get to the gym and do an hour and a half workout. And because what happens is once you feel the way that makes you feel, you want to build on it. And then you get addicted to it where you're like, I feel like crap. I want to go do that for myself. So that's just for me, anyone that's really been in real estate full time and dealt with a very chaotic schedule and deals, be on blood pressure meds. And I don't even know by the time we're all like 40 years old,
Yeah.
not taking care of ourselves.
The 40-year-old that looks like the 80-year-old, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, and I think it's, there's going to be people in the audience here that listen to it that might not be a real estate agent, but, run a small business, and it's the same thing for them too. It's a way to alleviate stress. It's a way to have more energy, and, your clients can feel your energy, and, you want to be around for your family. Go make a whole bunch of money and then die because you didn't take care of yourself. It gives you that longevity in life to be as healthy as possible, so that you can actually celebrate the fruits of your work. So that's awesome. If you were to give advice to somebody maybe thinking about getting into the real estate industry, what would you say to them today?
You got to have some tough skin, and you got to be able to accept no, and you got to be able to fail. What's great about real estate is that there's so many different ways you can be successful at it. And there's not just one way, and you can figure out what you're good at, but it's going to take you time to get there. I had to fail at many things. You got to go find it, and then you got to figure out your niche and like what it is, why, what is it that makes people want to use you, and just, be creative in that sense. Like, don't do, like, there's just going to be things that you're good at and that you're not, and you have to figure those out. And it takes time because there's trial and error, right? So I would say my first year I had a lot of tears, but I mean, that's just what it was. I took it personal. People didn't call me back. I was upset, but you know what? I didn't give up. And here I am now, doing amazing things. And so sold 39 homes last year, 20 million. It's like, who would have thought, my first year I was crying and I didn't think I would ever be here, and here I am. So I just think gotta be tough, can't be scared of that failing, and give it time.
You're definitely a tough person, and I would say thick skin. And that doesn't mean you're not an emotional person. It just means that you let a lot of stuff bounce off of you that most wouldn't, and you just keep going. You're consistent, you're persistent, you're intentional in what you do, and I think those are success formulas that have shown up in your world by my observation, and I think that's really cool. So tell us a little bit about your service area. What's your primary service area, and how do people connect with you if they're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, or maybe they want to become part of your health group?
So first of all, my area is going to be, I'm in the North Houston, Spring, Woodlands area. So I cover from about Katy, all the way to Kingwood. So that whole top corridor of Houston, going from west to east, and then I go up all the way to Lake Conroe, that far north. So fairly big area, but I'm just very well experienced in those areas. And then if you want to connect with me, if there's an area that you're interested in that I am not an expert in, I definitely can always find someone. The Keller Williams network is amazing. Find someone that's the top realtor in that area to refer you to. So I help people with that all the time. I'm not going to just take a listing somewhere because it's money. I don't do that. I want to make sure someone's taken care of. So I can help with that too. And then to connect with me, I have an amazing website where you can learn a lot about the buyer processes, seller processes, investing. You can meet my team. It has all of our contact information on that. And so that website is www.stephaniecribbs.com. So that's STEPHANIECRIBBS.com. That's where you'll see a lot of stuff, my listings, everything on there. And then if you want to join my health and fitness group in Google, you can in Google. And Facebook, you can just search at the top. It's called Health/Fitness Group of the 77386. So that is a zip code here in Spring, Texas. And you do not have to be in Spring, Texas to join. Hit join and we'll approve you. So we have lots of good stuff in there.
Awesome. So again, to reach Stephanie Cribbs is visit her website, www.stephaniecribbs.com. Or if you want to join her health and fitness group visit Facebook and go to Health and Fitness of the 77386. So Stephanie, thank you for joining me today, sharing that information. You're obviously a top producing agent. You have a lot of experience. If somebody's looking to connect with you for their real estate needs, it would be a good decision on their part. If anybody's wanting to get into the real estate industry, Stephanie's a great person to talk to. She can share her experience with you. And I'm sure she'll be able to share that experience with you with the health portion of our conversation today, if that's moved you. So again, Stephanie, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to the Survive, Scale, Soar podcast. If you heard something that made a difference in your life today, share it with someone that might benefit and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Learn more about the host of this podcast and coaching services offered by Red Hawk Coaching by visiting www.redhawkcoaching.com.